Moderation in temper is always a virtue, but moderation in principle is always a vice. Character is much easier kept than recovered. We have it in our power to begin the world over again. The mind once enlightened cannot again become dark. Time makes more converts than reason. If I do not believe as you believe, it proves that you do not believe as I believe. And that is all that it proves. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. My country is the world, and my religion is to do good. From the errors of other nations, let us learn wisdom. He who dares not offend cannot be honest. That there are men in all countries who get their living by war, and by keeping up the quarrels of nations is as shocking as it is true. Arms discourage and keep the invader and plunderer in awe, and preserve order in the world as well as property. Horrid mischief would ensue were the law-abiding deprived of the use of them. It is error only, and not truth, that shrinks from inquiry. Government, like dress, is the badge of lost innocence. The palaces of kings are built on the ruins of the bowers of paradise. That government is best which governs least. It is important that we should never lose sight of this distinction. We must not confuse the peoples with their governments. Man did not enter society to be worse off or to have fewer rights, but rather to have those rights better secured. The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason. I have never used any other, and I trust one never shall. Common sense will tell us that the power which hath endeavored to subdue us is of all others the most improper to defend us. Better fare hard with good men than feast it with bad. Independence is my happiness, and I view things as they are, without regard to place or person. My country is the world, and my religion is to do good. The real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection. To reason with governments, as they have existed for ages, is to argue with brutes. It is only from the nations themselves that reforms can be expected. Society is produced by our wants, and government by wickedness. The former promotes our happiness positively by uniting our affections, the latter negatively by restraining our vices. but such is the irresistible nature of truth, that all it asks, and all it wants, is the liberty of appearing. To argue with a person who has renounced the use of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. The real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection. I love the man that smiles at trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. Could the straggling thoughts of individuals be collected, they would frequently form materials for wise and able men to improve into useful matter. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. He who denies to another this right makes a slave of himself to his present opinion, because he precludes himself the right of changing it. The most formidable weapon against errors of every kind is reason. Man cannot make principles. He can only discover them. What we obtain too cheaply, we esteem too lightly. Its dearness only that gives everything its value. Long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right. Whether we sleep or wake, the vast machinery of the universe still goes on. It is not in numbers, but in unity, that our great strength lies. Yet our present numbers are sufficient to repel the force of all the world. I believe in the equality of man, and I believe that religious duties consist of doing justice, loving mercy, and endeavoring to make our fellow creatures happy.